Welcome. In this video I'm hoping to show how I use PlexMediaServer to catalogue my Blu-ray discs and other offline media. In order to do this I'm going to populate a folder on my NAS filer with some bespoke 10-second MP4 files to simulate the movies in question. I have a 10-second file here already. I'm going to use it as a template, and I'm going to simply make a copy and rename it as Dune 2023. Now I simply upload that onto my filer in the location I've selected for Plex. Once I've copied them into the directory, Plex should auto detect that and hopefully populate the wish list with the first film. As you can see, Plex has picked up the duration of the film from the file itself and not from any online media source. But there again, if that's all you're after, then your work here is almost done. We can simply make another copy, name it to anything we like, stick it on the filer, and we've got another film. If simply listing the films is all you're after and you don't care about any more details like the actual duration matching, then your work here is done. You can simply rinse and repeat for as many films as you want and just drag the files on and let Plex do the rest. If you however want to do a proper job and have the duration of the films included, then it's going to take a bit more effort, and we'll move on to that next. Now, in order to simulate an extended duration on these files, we've got to do a bit of hex editing. If we use media info to look at this file, you can see it's 10 seconds and 8 milliseconds long. So if I go into this calculator here and go 10 seconds and 8 milliseconds, it's 2718 in hex. As you can see from this file name, I've added that into it just so I know for future use when I come back here. So if we drag that over here, and we have the move atom at the beginning, the header, all the metadata is at the head end of the file. Video files quite often have it at the end, which is inconvenient, but if you use something like Handbrake to create a 10-second file, you can tick the web enabled box and that will ensure that the metadata is at the beginning of the file, so it's easy to find. And we are looking for 2718, which just conveniently happens to be here and here. It's all these 4 bytes. Currently there's only 2 being used, but we're going to be replacing it at a decent time, so it'll be extended. So first of all, we're just going to pick a random time. I'm going to pretend I've got Dune and it's 124 minutes long. So I'm going to copy this column here, which is under spaced out. This is the hex value, but I've manipulated so the spaces appear in between because that allows me to paste it in. And if you set the overwrite byte cursor position and hexadecimal, it will then apply the new value. Click on here, apply the value again, and then do a save as and call it Dune T23. Save that, then we undo, and we can now go for a 107-minute film and paste that back over the top of those values again. Save as Megan 2022, I think it is. And there you go. Go back over here, and we've got a couple of 10-second files. This time they should have the times. Yeah, 2 hours and 4 minutes. 1 hour 47. So if I go to my NAS server now, drop those on. Oh. Plex should notice the changes shortly. And there we go, 2 hours and 4 minutes, 1 hour 47. Now, that's all well and good if you have your Plex server running. But if not, there's no way to access films and their durations. But to get around that, as Plex uses a SQLite database, we can actually extract that data into a CSV format for offline use. And we'll go through that now. Now, because my database is on my network NAS filer, the actual database file Plex uses is not conveniently on any one of my shares. It's in a hidden file. In order to access it though, what I'm going to do is create a symbolic link in I've got a PuTTY session connected remotely, and I've issued that command, which will be in the text below. As you can see, I'm in my demo library, and now I have a symbolic link to where the actual PlexMediaServer lives. So now we should be able to access a SQLite database using this share name here. I've downloaded the zip file. There is a link in the text below. I can extract that here. You don't need to install it. It will work. Standalone version. So now we've got it running, we can open our database, which is in the Plex demo, and there's a symbolic link we created to the real library. And there you go, we're connected. Now you can simply browse data, and by selecting various tables you can look at the data in the tables, but more usefully you can write your own SQL, which will allow you to extract the exact data you like. Now here's a piece of useful SQL just to get you started, and 19 just happens to be that new wish list. If you run this short piece of SQL, you'll be able to check your library sections to see which ID you need to use for your particular lists. And so if I run that, I get the 2 films I've just put in, and I don't need that. Now you can see it's part of the wish list. Dune Part 2 and Megan. Now this may seem a little pointless for 2 films, but this is just to show you the principle of getting your data into a CSV file, which you can do for each separate list you have, then add those CSV files into one Excel spreadsheet or OpenOffice, and then you can access that offline for your offline media, obviously, but also you know what films on the file are, so you know if you want to boot it up or not. This is like a bonus tip section for those that want to use the SQLite browser against the database. What I do is I actually copy it to my local computer. So I use PuTTY's SFTP, so if you have a preferred mechanism you can use that. And if I open up my filer, grab the password from Bitwarden, highly recommended. I CD to the real location of my Plex database. this is the Plex database of interest. And if I just get that, we'll copy it locally, and there it is. So now I can simply run my local browser, open the database, and browse my data. Well, I hope you found this video useful, and please leave any comments or suggestions below. Appreciate it.